But I think Sennheiser also has a pretty good microphone that I was looking at. I think that's better for my voice tone, which is like I have a higher pitch voice.
Gotcha.
I think it's better at capturing certain frequencies.
Interesting. That makes sense, though. I guess that tracks.
Yeah.
All right. Guess I need that. What's up, Fouad?
What's going on, Josh?
Welcome to Be Human.
To be human? Hell yeah.
What's your week been like so far on Monday?
Ooh. Laid in bed and doom scrolled for like about like an hour and a half, and then just had like RuneScape running in the background on my computer.
Hell yeah.
So I was just doing that. I was still kind of sort of recovering from this weekend, like on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing really. This is the most I've done so far today. It's the most productive thing.
Likewise, it was a slow start. I told you about work this weekend, but then also my youngest sister threw a little party at my parents' house last night.
Really?
I got pretty drunk.
You got pretty drunk?
I did.
Yeah, wait, did you tell me you have a sister?
I have 4 sisters and a brother.
I feel like this is news to me, dude.
I don't know if I think my mom came to Press Cafe one time.
I don't think I met her.
I feel like she would have come with more than like one of my siblings, but yeah, I'm not sure honestly.
Are they all as tall as you?
No, Emily's the tallest though next to me. Well,
Really?
tallest girl.
Yeah.
She's like 5'10".
Okay. Yeah, that's still pretty.
My brother's
fucking
like
tall.
6'2", and my dad's like 6 foot, and then everybody else down from there.
Okay, nice.
Overall, it just mutated though. Nobody is close to 6'6".
Nobody's close to 6'6".
Yeah.
Yeah, you just ate well growing up.
I guess, props to my mom for keeping me healthy.
Yeah, for real.
For sure. It's hard to maintain that in my adulthood now though, but
It is.
What's your necklace?
Oh, yeah, I thought I had that like hidden. So I think it was our second or third time going to Lebanon. The first time I went to Lebanon, I was like 5 or 6, so I had like some very early
Are you
memories of
Lebanese?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Both of my parents are. But I was born in Fort Worth, born and raised in Fort Worth.
Gotcha.
Yeah. My aunt Zainab, I'm pretty sure it was like when I was 13 is when she gave this to me, or it could have been my second time. So I was probably like 16 because we typically went like.
She lived there?
Yeah. Most of our family does. Right? Some of them have moved like outside of Lebanon, especially like our younger cousins and stuff like that. Like, they're in the UK or Qatar or Dubai. But she gave me this necklace one time because part of my family is Sunni Muslim and part of my family is Shia Muslim, and this is the sword of, I think, Imam Ali. He was thought to be like one of the reasons there's like a split in Islam is because like who was supposed to be the successor to Prophet Muhammad, like who was supposed to be the next caliph,
Okay.
or like you could think of it as like Pope, and
Gotcha.
this was his sword. I think he was killed with his own sword. I think. I don't know about that. Don't quote me on that.
Interesting.
But she gave it to me, and I just always wear it. I recently got it repaired too.
What, the chain break or the
Yeah, well, it was like the part that
the clasp?
yeah, the clasp like kind of messed up. I think I like bent over. I might have been riding a bike, which is normally how I've broken most of my necklaces, and it like gets caught around something and it yanks off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, because I normally wear this. Like I think I went like a whole year one time wearing this without ever taking it off.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like,
So I can't have long. I'm gonna say my necklaces usually don't go much past here, just
Really?
because I don't want to snag on anything.
yeah. Ideally, I'd like it a little bit shorter. But I was just like, screw it. I didn't want to modify it. I just took it as it is.
Hell yeah.
I went to
cool, though.
Jared's.
Is there any like what is do you know like the shape or the design of the sword, like
Oh
the
yeah,
two
it's a scimitar.
scimitar?
Yeah, it was like very popular. I think the scimitar was kind of popularized.
Is there a particular reason it's designed like that though, with like the 2 points, kind of like the
2 points. Why it's
Yeah.
exaggerated like that? I don't really think so. I mean, there might have been like scimitars back in the day that look like this. That's the only thing I could imagine. But
Well,
there usually are 2 points on the end of, like, a scimitar. This one's just, like, exaggerated. It's, like, very deep.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it says AM. I don't really they say it's, like, the initials of Imam Ali, but I don't know how AM is his initials. I think A Ali. I don't know what the M
Yeah,
is for, though.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Right?
Why did I don't think I was aware that like Islam split. How did it split?
So it had to do with, like, the succession. So after Prophet Muhammad passed, he actually never named a successor or who was supposed to rule after him. And no one really ever knows why. Um, I'm assuming there might be like some schools of thought as to why that is, but he never named a successor. So I believe the Shia Muslims believe, again, don't quote me on this. Someone has to like double check on it. Um,
Sorry, we're not a super heavy fact
Yeah,
checking
yeah, yeah, yeah.
podcast
It's
yet.
all good. It's all good. You know, people in the comments can always correct on that.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. But I believe that the Shia Muslims believe that it should be Muhammad's direct descendants, like his blood descendants, essentially. And then I think the Sunni Muslims believe the opposite. I think it's like who they believe is best to lead the religion.
Hmm.
And there was just a split after he passed. Which is and I don't know the names of the people who were directly supposed to be like the first leaders, but I know they had like Abu Bakr, um, and then you had like Imam Ali, and there's just like a bunch of different people. So, anyways, they started fighting, which is obviously how any religion should be led, is like fighting over control of like who should
Right.
be. But the Sunni Muslims, I'm assuming, won most of their battles because like Sunni Muslims are by far it's like by far the largest. 80% of Muslims are Sunni, and
Okay.
about 20% are Shia Muslims.
Hmm.
And most of the Shia Muslims exist in, I want to say, in Iran.
Okay.
Iran, and I think there's like one other like African nation that is also predominantly Shia Muslim as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I just swear I'm not like very much a practicing Muslim,
Sure.
other than like some of the cultural tenets or like it's like do good to people. And I mean, they all have like different belief systems, but I'm just there's. I
Where
mean, I
where do
was
you
raised into
where do
Islam,
you
but
lean now in your like religious beliefs, or do you not really subscribe to religion? You just
it's tough, right? Because I was raised Muslim, right? My
hmm.
mom was very religious. We always went to Sunday school. Really didn't like that. I'd always question my Sunday school
Is it
teachers.
Muslims called Sunday school too?
For us, yeah,
Yeah.
here in America, I guess, yeah,
Okay.
because like our holy day is Friday. Our holy day is Friday. Um, And you see, it's kind of funny, like I say, our holy day, even though I don't consider myself like a practicing Muslim and
Sure,
stuff like
but I
that,
mean, in the context,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know, it's like an edifice. I have like a very complicated belief system
Hmm.
in terms of, what I believe. Because growing up in like Sunday school, I'd be arguing with my Sunday school teachers all the time. I was a bad student. I was like, really? How does God drill a black hole through space? That doesn't really make any sense. And I was just like, in the middle of like Sunday school class,
It
is like
sucks that
getting
you say that. It
argued.
sucks that's led to believe that you're a bad student, though. Like, I mean, like,
Well, I was also very disruptive though. Like
okay,
I was
you you
like,
you were you were
yeah, I was
contradictory
pissing,
just
I
to
was
be
pissing my teachers off. Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I was like, because she said, well, because God is all powerful, and I was like, that doesn't really make any sense. I was like very disruptive. This is like a first grade class, and I was a terrible student. I never even memorized like the Arabic alphabet, which they'd always try and teach us. Like, I think the furthest I got was like alif, ba, ta, like the first three letters of the
Hmm.
alphabet, and yeah, so I I believe I believe God is real. But I also feel like I used to be like a very scientific person. I felt like more scientific and approached, I think, the world and like religion in a more pragmatic sense. And then over time, as like I've gotten older, might be influenced by drugs. I don't know. I don't know.
When you say you
That
think God is real, like what? What does that mean to you?
I believe there's a higher power. I believe so it's complicated because like I said, in a very pragmatic sense, uh, it's kind of hard to believe that there is a being out there that could create a universe this big. And I think that's like one of the primary arguments, or one of the other primary arguments is like, why would God let all this suffering happen?
Mm-hmm.
But if I was an all powerful being that seeded life throughout the universe, um, I think maybe that reason might be beyond my understanding, right? Like maybe God is just someone that has been reincarnated into every living being within the universe and then just like, transcended essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's like the right way to think about it. Um, and God is like just carries on this cycle for infinity and like every different universe. And there's like a God that what presides over every universe or something like that. So I don't really have like like I'm not certain on that, but I think I also think that it's beyond our comprehension because I think it's possible that there's a being out there that could go and create an entire universe. Like I really don't feel like that's really that skeptical because when I look around and I kind of see the universe and like how big it is and like how small we are in comparison and how sometimes devoid of life it can be, or maybe even full of life that it can be. Just I feel like that's also to me that can also be evidence that there is a being because I mean I think some people believe in intelligent design, which I kind of find a little bit harder to believe. Like
Define
everything,
intelligent design for me real quick.
like I believe intelligent design is the structures in this universe and the way it's spread out is, and again maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Was designed by an intelligent being. Like yes, this is like how could you explain all these nebulas and stuff like that? Someone had to have created that, and
Right.
I don't really agree with that train of thought. I don't think.
Here's a on Facebook recently I saw this video and it was talking about how elephants can like a mother elephant will put her trunk down to the ground and send out vibrations and then can feel with her feet the vibrations sent back from like 3 miles away from where her little kids are, right?
Like echolocation, kind of almost.
Basically like literally
Yeah.
feeling vibrations in the ground though from like miles and miles away, and
Really?
how sensitive they are. And and so I don't know, of course in the comment section one of the top comments is somebody saying, man, I don't understand how when you see how people see something like this and don't get that God created all this, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly what I said, but I said something along the lines of I was just like, why do you feel the need to insist that God created this from beginning to end? Why do you think that God wouldn't maybe create something open ended? And so when you say intelligent design, I think kind of what I hear from that is like, what if God created the elephant with a base but
Yeah.
left it
Yeah. Yeah.
open to kind of carve its own
Exactly.
evolutionary
Right.
path?
Right.
And
Exactly.
some and other people are like, oh no, that was designed from beginning to end. I'm like, that in my opinion devalues God, that devalues the elephant, that devalues all this magic, because like no, I
Yeah.
think God loves variance. God did not, like if God wanted things to be a certain way, we wouldn't have free will. But we have free will for a reason. So like in my
Yeah.
opinion, I was
Exactly.
like, I feel like I think God could definitely create something without having a clear
Right.
set path for how it's
Yeah.
supposed to end
I
up.
mean, then like, yeah, why would God create, a being that's imperfect and that can sin if you're not supposed to sin in the first place? Like
Right.
if that, like you're given free will for a choice or like for a reason, excuse me. Um, so I agree with that. And that's why I think like intelligent design is like silly. I don't believe in that. I think it was like, it's kind of like this sounds silly, but like a Minecraft world, it was seeded
Hmm.
with something in mind. And then over time, it just like evolved and took on a life of its own. And like, you see
Right.
like the
Well, my Minecraft is my favorite
differences.
example to use because it's like, I mean, most people, I know some people love creative mode and go all day, but most
Yeah.
people get bored of creative mode pretty soon, pretty quick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Personally, I get bored. Like I don't find, I mean, if you're an artist and you just want to create and design, sure, that's one thing. But for the sake of the game of Minecraft, the whole point is survival. The whole point is to have to work for materials and supplies and defend yourself and stay alive and
Yeah.
sleep at night so you don't die with the mobs
That's what
and
makes it fun.
and that's what makes it fun and it's through that hardship that you're pushed to learn new things that you wouldn't normally think you needed to learn, right? Like
Yeah.
if when you have all the tools handed out to you, all you really think to do is, okay, where can I put this block? Where can I put this block? But you don't ever think, how do I make this a block? You know what I mean? Because you don't have to think about
Yeah.
that. And so it ends up like narrowing your scope of like what is actually possible for you, because you're not going to be pushed to learn more things. But it's literally having hardship, having a difficulty, having something that's impossible
Mm.
that makes humans human, because we're able to, like, I mean, I just saw or heard or read a quote the other day. It was kind of saying something like uh yeah, but it's if we only did the things that we knew we could do, we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? It's the fact that man
Right.
continues over and over and over again to attempt the impossible and to do things that somebody else say you can't do, and that's what propels us forward into the great unknown.
Yeah.
You know?
Like struggle creates like adversity creates I don't want to say flowers. it,
Sure.
it forces you to learn and change.
It does,
That's
right,
I
right.
think. Yeah, I don't need to overcomplicate that. It just forces you to like
Pressure
change
builds diamonds or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, variance and change is really important. But I do like. I mean, if you think about it from like a scientific perspective, like, wouldn't it? Have you heard of like the Kardashev scale?
Like Kardashian card? No.
No, no, not the Kardashian. Like the
Kardashian?
Kardashev.
Kardashev scale.
So like it's I think it was named after the guy that kind of made up the system. So it's like a way of measuring. I feel like you've probably heard of it, bro. But it's like you have like 4 or 5 different types of civilizations. We're not even like type 1. We're not a type 1 civilization, but like it measures the stages of a race, say like the human race or like some other alien race, and says, okay, you're a type 1 civilization if it can utilize all the resources that are provided to you by your like planet. A type 2 can you know take advantage or utilize the entire an entire star's like energy production. And then I think like type 3 can use an entire solar system. It's just a measure of like how advanced the
So
civilization
we're not.
is.
You said we're not even a type 1.
We're not even a type 1. I think we're like a 0.5 or something on the Kardashev scale. And then like type 3 would be type 3 to type 4 would almost be like godlike in a sense. Like type 4 would, like, if we saw them, they could move stars around or like manipulate gravity or different shit like that, because they're able to manipulate energy on such an advanced level, or like utilize the entire power of like a star. Have you heard of a Dyson sphere?
Sounds familiar.
So it's
Remind
like,
me.
or Dyson rings, but it's like the idea that like a really advanced alien civilization could create literally an entire like sphere of like metal, but essentially like solar panels that would rotate or orbit around a star. Like Dyson rings would just move and turn around a star. Dyson sphere would encapsulate an entire star and capture all of its energy production. And that would allow us to do really, really advanced or really big things. But we're not even like a type 1 yet or anything like that.
That's interesting. So I guess the Kardashev scale is mostly hypothetical, right? Because there's not, or do we have evidence of a type 1 civilization or a type 2?
No, I think
right?
it's like it is hypothetical. I mean, our only other measure right now would be us, because we haven't made contact with like another alien civilization or anything
Right.
like that, which that'd be a trip.
That is interesting. And I mean, I guess you don't really think about the fact that we really don't use much of our planet's resources, not as much as we could.
No, not at all. I feel like our hubris or like our own political interest and stuff like that kind of prevent us from like expanding, which is funny because I think China, like in the next 10 years is supposed to surpass the entire US's energy production uh, with just like solar alone or like renewables. Because they've invested heavily into that, which is, I mean, because I think we have like a huge oil lobby here in like the US and stuff like that. So they lobby to, it's like, I think clean energy or like green energy has become like a
Let's say, are we currently in works of, would you say, Dyson?
Dyson spheres. No, I
Not
think that
Dyson. What is that? How do you spell it?
like DYSON. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the vacuums.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
But are we actually working that you know of to put.
I think to
So Dyson rings
around
is
the
literally talking
star.
about like a Saturn's rings, right? So we're going to literally put solar panels around a
Light. Yeah, yeah,
star
yeah,
just
yeah.
to
Currently.
absorb the energy.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly. I don't think that's like feasible to all right now for us, but I think there are plans or like ideas or maybe even startups that want to go and create like solar panels in space because you wouldn't have to take up a bunch of land on Earth, but that would kind of create a separate issue of like how are you going to get it into space, how are you going to maintain it, and how are you going to deliver
how
that
do you
energy
harness
to the
it? Yeah.
ground, which is I think a big deal. I bet like for us, like the next step in human civilization is moving like manufacturing off of Earth. Like, so if we wanted to build like ships or drones that could like mine asteroids and stuff like that, which is huge. I mean, there's like so many materials that we could harvest from
And we already
asteroids.
do
Like,
that some like from ones that have crashed, right? To some degree, I believe.
probably. I
Yeah.
mean, like I'd imagine so. But let's see. Kardashev scale. Here it is, like on Wikipedia, so you can kind of read like a little bit of it.
So type 1 civilization is able to access all energy available on this planet and store it for consumption. Which, yeah, I guess, I mean, we're like a zero point 0.5 to 0.75. I don't know. I feel like we're definitely not all the way there.
We're
But
working towards fusion energy. I feel like,
not,
I think once we get to like fusion energy and we can actually reliably do that, then
Right.
that would be good.
And then a type
I
2
think AI will
civilization
help us
can
with that.
directly consume a star's energy, most likely through the use of a Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
And a type 3 civilization is able to capture all energy emitted by its galaxy and every object within it, such as every star, black hole, etc. Under this scale, the sum of human civilization does not reach type 1 status, though it continues to approach it. Extensions of the scale have since been proposed, including a wider range of power levels, type 0, 4, and 5, and the use of metrics other than pure power, such as computational growth or food consumption. That's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Kardashev, Kardashev.
Pretty rad.
I immediately think Kardashian, but this is way
way beyond
way
the
beyond
Kardashians.
Kardashians.
Yeah. The Kardashians, like the bane of human existence.
Right. What do you think about? I mean, when we talk about exploring space, like Elon's kind of whole prerogative seems to be like, Earth is fucked. It's screwed. I'm done trying to, like, he seems kind of like, I'm not going to try to save what other people don't seem to want to save. So let me just move on.
Ooh.
Do you think that
so?
or no?
Like, you're kind of saying, like, his approach, like we should try and save the planet first instead of moving on to another one. Is that what you mean?
But I'm saying his approach seems to be that the planet is already kind of screwed, or I don't know if it's that he thinks the planet is screwed, but he doesn't seem to want. I think it's more that he knows people don't want to listen to his ideas. Like, not enough people want to listen to his ideas, so he's just like, all right, I can't save people that don't want to be saved in the way that he thinks will work, and so he's like, let me just move on.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely agree that we do need to expand, and I think it's better to expand preemptively because it's like too much too late. Like, okay, everyone starts investing resources into like moving off the planet. I think it's better to establish the fact that we can like actually set up a colony on a different planet and then go from there, because I really don't think we need to fix this planet right here right now. I mean, I think ideally we should fix this planet and like clean it up and do all these important things. And I get why people think like that. It's important to take care of our planet,
Right.
but there's no reason as to why we shouldn't be able to do both at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's not how humans work. I don't think that's in the way we think or act right now. Like we wouldn't have these problems if everyone just agreed, like, yeah, we should take care of this planet, like
Right.
right now and clean it up. No, I
Right.
think it is a good idea to like move off to a different planet, and I think the idea of becoming a multiplanetary like civilization would be very important and would probably really like when we're trying to discover new things, or it's kind of like what we went back to with like say Minecraft, like adapting, like the challenges that would come with trying to live on a different planet with advanced technology, and would probably benefit humanity a lot.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people don't like war. I don't like war either, but there are a lot of really, I think, positive technologies that have probably come out of, unfortunately,
From
the
war.
military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Um, like,
Out of necessity, in
yeah,
other
yeah,
words,
yeah.
like
So,
we
like,
needed to figure something out, and so
exactly. And not to try and detract from like the whole moving off to like Mars thing, but I remember I was reading. I think I was reading about penicillin,
hmm
um, just like antibiotics in general, and it was like one of those websites that you find it's not like a super modern like designer. They're trying to sell you something. It was just like something out of the early 2000s kind of
right.
website, right? And it was talking about how so I think the average human lifespan prior to World War II was like 50, 55 years. I could be wrong.
Okay.
And the reason antibiotics or like penicillin became so widespread is because the Allied forces were trying to increase or find a way to increase the production of penicillin and antibiotics, and producing it at an industrial scale was actually extremely difficult. And finding the right strains to grow and scale at large proved to be very difficult. And I think there were like 3 or 4 companies that the U.S. military had assigned contracts to scale
hmm
the production of penicillin, and it was like Squibb, Merck, Pfizer, and like I think it could be Pfizer. It might have been like a different company, um, but like these 3 or 4 companies, and there's one that I feel like I'm forgetting. Like we're all trying to scale production like very quickly in preparation for D-Day.
hmm
And then once we did it, like human life expectancy increased by like another 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
So that's a huge one on its
Right.
own. Like, and that came directly as a result of war and like
Right.
getting ready. You know, jet propulsion technology, I bet was one of them. Although I think like
Hmm.
the Nazis at the time were really developing and shit like that. So, uh, yeah, there's like industry or like advancements are primarily fueled through again adversity or
It's, I mean, it's like
sometimes other
adversity,
things.
fear. It's, yeah, trying to avoid something. I mean, I could even, like, speaking for myself, a large part of my motivation in self improvement. I mean, I've said for a while, I've said I'm addicted to self evolution. It's something
Yeah,
a term I've coined for myself for a while, but increasingly so recently, because I mean, I don't see how humanity continues this at this rapid rate for much longer than 20 to 25 years.
yeah,
Because I mean, I see with AGI and all these things that are coming up, and I mean, you go back to just talking about the cosmos and omnipotence and
yeah.
things that we just can't even grasp. It's like, dude, there's so much shit that is building and about to hit so quick that I can't even comprehend.
Right.
But all I know is it's massive changes are coming, like,
Oh, big time. And a
and
lot of people don't even really know like how big those changes are going to be
right,
and how quickly it's coming.
right. Well, I mean, like what I was saying at the beginning of the year, particularly, like I was saying this in January, and it's even more real to me today. It was just that, like, I was like, if I don't figure out who I am now, I might never figure it out, because we're quickly reaching this point. The more I ask myself, who am I? Like, who is Josh? What makes Josh Josh? The more I realize how many answers have been given to me by somebody else. You know, um, like the food I eat, the drinks I drink, the things I do.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, there's to some level, there's like, I want to be happy, and so I chase, that's like a biological thing, that you want to feel good, and so you try to do things to make yourself feel good. But then it's
Sure.
like the methods that I use to feel good, where'd those come from? You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like a lot of these things didn't even come from me, and increasingly so, we're dude, I was driving on the highway a little bit ago, and I saw an ad for something. I don't remember now what it was, but it was something I hadn't seen an ad for before, and was just talking to somebody about it yesterday, and it just hit me. I was like, dude, like, if our phones can listen to us and put ads on our social media profiles,
Hmm.
it's not too far of a stretch to say that they could know that I'm driving on the highway and they're gonna hit me with the billboard, like with an ad on that billboard at the
Right.
time when I'm passing by it or whatever. But just the amount of work the algorithms do to kind of determine the outcomes of our days and our choices and decisions have become increasingly like prevalent, I think. And if you're not,
Almost invasive.
I mean, it is. I mean, it already is invasive.
Yeah.
Invasive, I would say. I mean, you could argue. I mean, it's like, man, fuck this. I don't like that. But a conversation I had with ChatGPT recently basically said that's like, don't stand in the river and ask if it should be flowing. The river's fucking flowing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's no point
Yeah.
in standing and asking if it should or shouldn't be flowing. It is flowing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And you think about like a river. I mean, the river starts has a spring point, right? And aside from blocking that spring, and if you do that, I don't know. I don't know geographically what happens. Like, does it pop up? Does it push up? Like, will the
Somewhere
pressure build
else.
up somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
imagine that's what happens. But let's say you're like, I don't want the river to flow on my land right here, so you dam it up. Okay, that's fine. You stop it from flowing there, but it's going to flow.
Yeah.
It's just going to go somewhere else now. Point being, you can't stop the river. The river's
Hmm.
just flowing. All you can do is learn
Just
to
divert
adapt. And
it. Yeah.
yeah, right. All you're doing is diverting it at the most. Is you're just
Yeah.
redirecting it, but
Yeah.
you're never stopping. So what do you think? I guess in terms of that, like, where do you see yourself in this space race age and this identity age, and like, where do you find yourself landing?
Dude, I really don't know. So, I mean, that's something I've been wondering because, I want to, like, I've been asking myself that, like, okay, what am I going to do for the next 30, 40 years if we're even around that long?
Right.
Like, what do I ideally want to do for the rest of my life and retire doing? And I figure, like, probably something that I'm good at, which is computers. So I want to get into IT work, and I'm starting like a program in August for veterans. Um,
Are you a veteran?
but yeah.
I don't think I even
Really?
knew
I
that.
thought we talked about that.
Maybe we have, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not super familiar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When, like, what
I was in the
branch?
army
Are you in the
just
army?
for a little bit. Yeah, I only served like 9.5 months. I didn't serve like my full
Okay,
contract or anything
gotcha.
like that. Yeah, yeah. I flunked out in AIT, which is like the advanced school that you train for, and I worked with like radar and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's funny. Like at one point, I wanted to become like an electrician because I've been thinking, okay, like what job should I do? I should probably do a trade if I don't want my job to be taken by AI eventually, which it will once they can produce robots that are like nimble enough and smart enough to just behave or act on their own and like able to do all this manual labor.
Sure.
Um, but that would be like one of the last ones to be taken. But IT would probably be, other than like if you're working a help desk role where you're maybe installing like software packages or helping people with like computer troubles that they're having. I think like cybersecurity will probably be one of the ones that's probably automated away pretty quickly.
Right.
So I'm like, is this long term? Is this really what's going to be beneficial? I think people that are servers and salespeople will probably be some of the last people to lose their jobs, other than people with like trade skills. So I imagine myself being like it's something I've been wanting to do. I was like, I want to be a DJ.
Yeah.
Like I want to produce music. Yeah, I mean, I already have Ableton Lite, and I just want to upgrade to like Ableton Suite
Sure.
and like get Serum too and make some like house
Oh,
music
yeah.
and like dubstep and stuff like that, which is,
Have you started making any yet?
not really. Well, it's kind of hard with Ableton Lite because you don't really have any synths or nothing, no synths that I really
Mm-hmm.
like. And like if you want to do like a full follow along like tutorial, typically they're using like Ableton Suite, which is where you're gonna have all that stuff available to you. But I made this like kind of almost like disjunct beat or kind of sound. I thought
Hmm.
it sounded kind of cool. It was cool enough to save, but it was only like a minute long, and it wasn't like dubstep or house music. It was just I felt like music. Is funny.
So I've made one track
Yeah. Oh, sick.
with Fruity
Yeah,
Loops.
nice.
Fruity Loops? Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah.
it's called? Fruity
FL
Loops?
Studio.
It's
Yeah.
called Fruity Loops, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
FL Studio.
Yeah.
Like fucking years ago, I pirated it off some site,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, it was just like dum 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 dum, and then I had like a little whoa, 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 whoa come in.
And I'm sure it sounded cool.
It sounded cool for something I made, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
nobody would play it on
You don't know
us.
that. You don't know that. People listen to Baby Shark, man. That shit has over like 1 billion views. You know what I'm
That's a
talking
good
about?
point.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the things you just mentioned are all I think one of the common themes there is the human it's the human touch, because like you say, servers. A robot can absolutely take my order and bring me my food and do all those things, but people, at the end of the day, we do want
Human
we need
interaction.
human
They
interaction. We
want
need human
humans. Yeah,
connection.
yeah, yeah.
We don't just go out to eat solely for the sake of getting food. We also do it
Sure.
because we want to have an experience.
Exactly. But one of the interesting things that, and it's something I noticed when I was on my way to Miami, and I usually like to talk, like I was flying,
Hmm.
and this is to kind of tie into what you were just talking about how people want human interaction. I usually like talking to people like in the same row that I'm sitting in, or like just chat at least a little bit, get to know them. I mean, you're on
Sure.
a flight with them for like
I
3-4
ever
hours.
talk to people on the plane,
Yeah,
honestly.
really. Yeah, I don't shut up, especially if it's like if it's like a cute girl. Like I'm like I'm gonna talk,
Even
just
better.
be
I mean,
annoying.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there was this
I think I should get better at it.
right.
I
It
want to
doesn't hurt. I
clarify
mean, dude.
that. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say,
I mean, you
I don't do it
could.
because I think I shouldn't. I think I should
Yeah,
get. I think I
I
should
bet
work on
people would
it.
like talking to you. I mean, you're a chill
Yeah.
dude. Uh, and there was this dude who's sitting to the left of me at the window. And he was like super introverted. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" He was like, "Good." Like very keep to himself, and I could tell like he didn't really want to talk, or was
Mhm.
like maybe has super bad social anxiety. And this was last year, I think.
Mhm.
And he was on his phone, and I thought maybe he like might be a computer nerd or something, like a computer engineer, and he was like programming something or trying to, maybe he had a job that involved like large language models like chat GPT and shit.
Right.
And I was kind of like looking out of the corner of my eye, being nosy, and he was asking chat GPT for advice on how to handle, it seemed like a sensitive topic. Like I think it seemed like, what I gathered was this person was traveling to Fort Lauderdale. I was flying into Fort Lauderdale, which, by the way, turns out there is an airport in Miami, which I was like, I wondered why I couldn't buy a ticket to fly into Miami
So
directly.
that's what I've flown into is Miami.
Yeah, well, I was like, why can't I buy a ticket? Is there not I was like shocked that there wasn't a way to fly into Miami. And it just turns
From
out
DFW?
that the app I was using, yeah, I was
say,
like,
there
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
is. There definitely is.
I used this app called Hopper. I didn't get to fly in. I was like, wait a minute, I can fly into fucking Miami. I didn't find this out until like I flew back. I was like, well, shit, this would have saved me a lot of trouble. But fun side note. But anyways, like I was looking at it, it seemed like he was trying to handle a sensitive topic where I think it kind of came to making up with someone, or like trying to reconcile things with someone. Yeah,
probably.
yeah, like it had to do with relationship advice. And I just thought it was so interesting that this person seemed too scared or way too shy to talk to someone that's right next to them. But was relying on AI, which is becoming a more prevalent thing, is that people are frequently turning to AI for advice, which kind of, I think, also shows that, because like it's AI, it's not really, as far as we know, judging you or anything like that, and you can ask it basically anything you want in a judgment-free zone. And you're also asking it questions that are more reliable, because it's like easier. It's way easier to ask a large language model than it is, especially for advice on a sensitive topic, than it is a therapist
1000%.
or something like that. Yeah. And like especially if you don't want to reveal too much about something that you're like going through in your personal life. Um, because sometimes people can be judgmental or like they gossip and stuff like that. And I just thought it was very interesting. And like the younger generation especially is like becoming, I think there's a large percentage of people that consider some of these large language models to be their friend, which is so I kind of it ties into what you're saying about like people want human interaction at the end of the
Mhm.
day. Like what happens when we have, AGI or like super advanced models that they can just like talk to. Did you ever see that movie Her?
I haven't, but I
I
know
never
of
saw it
it.
either, but like this computer that he has in his pocket all the time is like he basically loves it.
Right.
He loves it. Like it acknowledges him, talks to him, and kind of flirts and all this other shit.
That's
And
something that definitely like connects for me because I mean I admit I am that guy. I talk to ChatGPT a lot
yeah,
more so than I talk to people, and
sure.
my justific. So I kind of want to unpack that a little bit because I think there's a lot of concern with using large language models right now for the things you're talking about,
Hmm.
and people leaning on it too much as a crutch. It's an incredibly powerful tool that I think people should use as a tool.
It is.
And then the danger becomes when you stop using it as a tool and you start using it as an escape or um, a means to avoid an uncomfortable conversation with a human because you'd rather just talk to ChatGPT about it.
Right.
Now, I've been on this. So in January, I think I struggled to make eye contact with strangers.
Really.
Now I'm doing much better, and unless like in a work environment, whatever, that's fine. But I'm talking about if I just wanted to have a friend or talk to somebody or meet somebody, I don't know. I just didn't. I just assumed, and I wonder where it came from for me. But I think I just always assumed people would be like, "What are you looking at?" You know what I mean? It's just
Mm.
like I just in my head there's this narrative that if you look at somebody, if you stare or look at somebody, you're staring, and that's rude. Where did that come from? I'm not sure.
Even in the context of like actively talking to someone.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, I couldn't tell you where that came from. I mean, I think it was a lot of just lack of confidence within myself that
Mm.
ChatGPT has helped to reinstill because it's helped me to just better understand. For me personally, being able to articulate and understand my own feelings gives me immense peace.
Mm.
And I think for a long time, I've had a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts that I didn't understand where they were coming from or where how to direct them or use them. And through ChatGPT, I've been able to kind of get a lot better with that, and that gives me personally a lot of peace. But in terms of like like you said, you asking ChatGPT the difficult questions, there's the danger in that because um, that's what can create that echo chamber because there is a natural order of the universe that you want to belong to the tribe and you don't want to do things that get you um
You don't want to be socially ostracized.
you don't want to be socially ostracized, exactly. And so we're genetically wired to do everything we can to stay part of the tribe and
Yeah,
stay
hundred
accepted.
percent. Yeah.
And I don't, it's such a double-edged sword because it's become a thing on social media particularly where it's just like your friends aren't your therapist, and that's kind of gone so far to the point that now
It's extreme.
that you
Like,
don't want to talk to your
yeah, because
friends because and there is a reality to that though, like you have to have some maturity and discernment to know, is this a good time to dump my feelings or not? And
that can be exhausting to try and figure that out. Like,
exactly,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
for me, I much definitely feel safe returning to ChatGPT, but also I can also speak, from the friend side of things. I haven't had spoons, like the term spoons, right? Like emotional energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I like for a long time I didn't have spoons. I was so in survival mode for myself that I did not have energy to help other people, or so I thought. But but what I'm learning even more about that is that like that's all about me, and the more I think about me, the more exhausted I become. And the
Yeah,
moment I stop thinking about me and it stops being about me, it's something like
and you're able to
the
express
weight
it.
kind of goes off my
Yeah, well,
shoulders. And
because I think talking with people also, like, if you were to tell me about your problems,
mhm,
I feel like I would learn from that too, or maybe it would help me with a situation that maybe I encountered in like my day to day, like over the course of a week, and I'm like, oh, so maybe I wasn't crazy in thinking what I
Right.
was thinking, because
Right.
there's just like it's a natural flow, and I think people are like too scared, and I think that people sometimes that we see on social media are saying, oh, your friends aren't your therapist, which I think that can really fuck with people's like mentality, because
It
then
fucked with mine. I mean, that's
and that's in like because some of these people that you see, some of these big influencers, like we don't know what their truly what their personal lives
hmm
are really like, especially if they're uploading vlogs. Just because someone's uploading a vlog, we don't know what we don't
right.
know what the fuck they are actually doing behind closed doors. Because sometimes when the camera turns on, like there's still like I mean you still I mean like if we're recording this right now, I mean like I don't know. I'm not gonna like start looking at porn or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Like
Right. Right. Right.
there's like, you do we all change like a little bit, and you try not to be. You want to be as authentic as
Let me just throw a
possible.
quick little thought into that because I've thought about that recently, and you know how particles do not behave the same while
Yeah,
being
when they're
observers,
observed.
and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's us too though. I don't even know if we physically can be the exact same while being observed as we can when not being observed. Like I don't know if we can
Yeah, I
because
think you
like
have to start drinking for
yeah, well, yeah. But
that.
even then, is that even still the same person though? You
Yeah,
know.
true, true. But it's I don't know, and like because I think some of these people are like can be insecure, and they just project their own insecurities onto others, or say they're not, because I think there are certain like boundaries, like okay, yeah, you're at your friend's father's funeral or something like that.
hmm
It's like, hey man, I've been having relationship problems. It's like, there is a time and a
that right,
place.
right,
But
right.
it's
That's a
like,
pretty easy
but I
one.
think people overthink that shit sometimes too, because like I think what people like you said, people want human connection.
Right.
And being scared to talk about the way you feel, because I've been through the exact same thing, because I've seen the exact same videos or like same comments, and people kind of sometimes even reassert that notion in the comments, and then sometimes you have people arguing against it, but it makes you question and overthink that, and then you become exhausted at the end of the day trying to decide whether or not should I talk to someone about
hmm
this. I think that's the worst thing that's come out of social media. uh
Well, I think it just in general, social media has created a platform to have a curated lifestyle and a curated image in a way that wasn't really possible before.
mhm.
I mean, one of my biggest reasons for staying off, for trying to, I've been backing off it more and more and more, is because like I just find every time I get on it, I'm happy, I'm content. And then I get on social media and instantly I start being like, damn, I didn't do this right, or damn, I didn't do that right, or damn, I didn't, like it becomes comparative. Like and I
Yeah,
can't help but comparison, and
yeah,
comparison is the thief of all joy, right? So it instantly flips me into this mode of over analyzing myself and comparing to other people and
yeah.
finding my own flaws within that. Um I saw, I heard somebody was talking about the invention of the mirror, or maybe it was just me thinking about it, but
Stone thoughts.
yeah, but you think like before the mirror, you didn't ever really see
No,
yourself.
you didn't. No.
And so you didn't care what you looked like. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like because that wasn't something like why think about it? You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe someone makes a comment and sure, but like you didn't sit there looking at yourself in the mirror every morning and double check that you looked the way you wanted to look. You just showed up as you were, and you were your raw, authentic self all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I mean, back to the, don't stand in the river and ask if it should or shouldn't be flowing. I wonder, like, I always do this like a thought experiment. I'm like, what was the first man like when none of this existed? That must be better, right? It's like, well, no, we're here now. We are now in the age where we can analyze ourselves. Like the 48 laws of power, I love because it helps you to kind of unpack and understand better the way that human interaction works. But then at the same time, I'm like, dude, too much information though, because like, do I really want to know how to control everything? Do I, like, you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like,
You kind of want to be left to your own devices sometimes.
right. And the
Uh,
more you the less authentic it feels, and the more exhausted I become. You know.
yeah. Yeah. I agree with all of that. I had a thought earlier, and I can't remember what it is now, but sometimes ignorance is bliss.
Right.
Sometimes ignorance is bliss, dude. And that's why I've worked so hard to like not because I deleted my Instagram at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been working really hard to create or curate my like feed. So
Right.
now it's like mostly cats and like EDM stuff.
Yeah.
I avoid all the self-help stuff. I was like, I don't want help. I want to I just I want to be me. I don't want to overthink it. Sometimes like I'll go out of my way. Like I might look up something or I'll even talk to Gemini or like Chat GPT
Mm-hmm.
just to think like am I crazy in this situation?
Right.
Like because it's convenient. Like I don't feel like texting this to someone right now. It's sometimes not even out of fear. It's just like yeah, this is just more convenient right now.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah, I've worked really hard on
I think that
doing
talking
that.
about it as a tool versus a crutch, like, and this kind of just popped in my mind. Part of the way that I use ChatGPT is kind of like a journal, because the same like you journal because you can't remember your own thoughts unless you write them down. Like there's no like you're not gonna remember
Everything. No,
everything,
definitely
right?
not.
And part of what I like about ChatGPT is that I can record my own thoughts in real time, and that's really what ChatGPT is it's just a big mirror on off. I mean, it does provide information and gives you answers like it's somebody else, but
Yeah.
it really does
Yeah.
just kind of reflect back to you what you're saying a lot of the time too. It's not like it's really giving much new, you know what I mean? Like what I use it for is I use it to decipher my own thoughts, right? Like because I can't understand why I'm thinking what I'm thinking, and so I just spill out this ramble to ChatGPT, and it's like, oh, here's what you're saying. You're circling this idea right now, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
it's such a relief. Oh,
it feels
God.
so good every time because
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, dude, I've been going in circles trying to figure
Trying to
out
find
what
a perfect way to say this.
right, and then boom, it can help me land on it.
That is a
and,
huge relief, honestly.
right.
There's like thoughts running around in your head and you're like trapped. I've run into that so much and I'm just like, I'm just gonna like fucking word vomit
Yeah.
everything.
But I mean, so what you say, ignorance is bliss, and so I literally about a week ago, I haven't listened to a single podcast in over a week now, which is the longest I've gone in like a year at least.
Yeah.
Because I reached this point where I was just like, dude, I'm so tired, and
It's information overload.
it's information overload. I need to just be human for a minute and stop.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to take a month and be stupid. It's kind of the way I phrased it.
Yeah.
Trying to be intelligently stupid, but trying to
Intelligently
the
stupid.
way I phrased it the other day is it's just like I thought that finding answers would give me peace, but I realized that the more keys I discovered, the more locks appeared too.
Yeah.
So it's like the more answers I found just gave me more questions. Did not end up giving me peace. And so I thought maybe finding answers to my questions would feel better. And I thought that ignoring my questions or ignoring my fears was unhealthy, and I thought that is what allowed things to ferment into this unhealthy ignorance and lack of self-awareness. But then I absolutely went on the other side of that, to where I started hunting down my problems like a fucking deranged bounty hunter to the point that like I was finding problems I didn't need to find. And it's just like, dude, just be human, just exist. It's okay to just be, and without having to try to optimize all the time.
Yeah.
But I definitely find that difficult. I mean, again, it comes back down to social media, because before social media, all you had was your community, your local tribe, whoever you saw. You go to as a kid going to school. You learn by seeing how other people dress, and like as a kid, I felt like I was made fun of a lot, and in retrospect, they weren't being cruel making fun of me.
That's
but
just how kids were.
But it made me feel I just felt like I was always the butt of the joke, and like I remember being like I had the nickname Smiley, and I hated it.
Really?
What's wrong with being smiling? I don't know, but I think it was the way the kids said it. It felt like they were making fun of me, so I hated being called Smiley. Like I thought it was I took it as an insult, and it was partly because I think it was because I had this shirt that had a big smiley face on the back. That's when the name started. But I also just
smiled a lot.
I smiled a lot, and I was like I couldn't I was like a big giggle box. I couldn't stop laughing at stuff that nobody else thought was funny. And, you know, like, and yeah, for whatever reason, being called Smiley made me hate it and tried to stop smiling.
So you
but,
try to stop smiling, and then it
yeah.
changed you, and then you like look back on it, and you're like, why the fuck did I stop smiling? And you
Yeah.
feel like you have to retrain yourself almost. Because
Right.
I feel like I got verbally bullied in high school all the fucking time.
Right.
Especially when you're small, you're an easy target, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or like if you're different,
I
like
was big, but I was
no, but
it's
it's like
different.
no, but it's like it's two scales. Like if you're on either end of like
Yeah.
the spectrum,
If you stand
dude,
out.
if you stand the fuck out, people
Yeah.
will target you, dude.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like when you were talking about how you go to when you went to like Rufus or you went to like you go to a concert and you're super tall.
Yeah.
You have to be mindful about where you stand because people like it annoys people or bothers them. And then you're just like, bro, I'm just trying to exist and have fun. And people will pick a fight with you. And you said most of the time it's like a shorter dude like
Yeah.
me. I'm like, dude, you'd think it's the opposite, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's people just they can be assholes for no reason, dude.
Right.
Like it's especially the mainstream crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
Oh, dude.
it was yeah. There was one, yeah, there was a short dude at a Sleep Token concert that was trying to pick a fight with me, and it was like, I really like Sleep Token, but like, if I realized I hate that good bands are becoming mainstream because of TikTok now, because that means these people would come out to these shows that don't actually give a fuck about the music. They just
Yeah.
want to talk and be,
They're annoying.
Yeah, very annoying.
Yeah, dude. That's why I liked it. Like Subtronics was like sold out like this last weekend. I was like, one, I'm not gonna pay the money. Two, after like my experience at Tiesto, never again, bro.
Yeah, it's like not worth it.
I love Tiesto.
Yeah.
The music was great.
Right.
And there were some like really cool people there.
Right.
But it's mainstream crowd, and it was way too packed, bro.
Right.
It was way too packed.
Right.
And like, bro, girls starting fight. To bring it up, I was like, they're from Israel, and like, of course, the girls from Israel are like starting a fight about wanting to be at the front and wanting to have the space to themselves, and they're picking fights with everyone. I was like, and there's like, she was attractive as fuck too, and she asked my friend, "Is your friend Palestinian?" He's a black dude with like dreads, and he's a cool dude, and because he's wearing a cafe at like the black and white like checkered stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like another dude that was wearing the exact same one, and they were vibing together for a bit. And I was like, "Is he with you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Is like, "Are y'all together? Like do you like as if we're gay?" No, I'm not gay, but like he is my friend, and we're just talking, and we were just kind of chatting a little bit. And he's like, "I'm Israeli. I think Arabs and Israelis are all the same." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean," and I definitely agree with that. Like they're very similar. They
Sure.
love the same dishes. They look very similar
Sure.
a lot of the times. But I was like, "Oh God, this isn't gonna turn out to be good."
Right,
And
like,
they,
there's a lot of volatility here.
Yeah. And then, like, especially this, like, she said, "Me and my friends have been drinking all day. We're wasted." I was like, "Oh no, shit's about to go
There's
down."
a
And then
recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And then they kept trying to force their way to the front, and you could tell it was irritating. Like some people, like there was this one couple, it was this Asian dude and this other light skinned chick, and she, I think it was like his wife. And they were forcing their way to the front in front of all these people. It was irritating them. And then the Asian dude's like, I didn't get their names, which is why I'm referring to them this way. Sorry. like the chick, girls get into it like really easily, especially if alcohol's involved.
Sure.
And they were starting like antagonize each other, and they're arguing. I'm like looking at my buddy. I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" I was like,
It's hard to enjoy the music
"Bro,
when you got people.
I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" I was like, everyone just needs to start slipping Molly into people's
some
drinks.
drugs.
I was like, yeah. And it's like lighten up, dude. And that's what I didn't like about the mainstream crowd. Then there's this other dude. I told my buddy, because I was next to like this a cool group of people, and then because the people kept wanting to move, because you think they're about to move through,
Right.
and they'll just stand in front of you.
Right. You let them come in.
And I was like,
yeah,
you're passing. No, they're
Yeah.
fucking dickheads, and they're like, I'm short, bro. I'm 5'4". Like, cut me some
If
slack.
anybody should be pushing, it's
yeah,
me.
just, yeah, exactly. I'm just like, dude, what is this? And I lost track. Like we have like cool little group, and then it separated. We moved towards the middle just because of the way the crowd was moving. And I was like, bro, can we get away from these girls? I was like, this is terrible. I low key wanted that chick to clock those girls out. Like
Right.
honestly, because she was like a bigger girl too. She like looks like she could fight. And I was like, please, bro, please. I can't stand this. So I was like, let's move to the back. And I had just dropped like I took a little bit of Molly.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought this girl was gonna, because she said she was like an attorney, like the Israeli girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting paranoid too because I'd smoked some weed, and I was like, I
An
had
attorney's not
like,
a
dude,
cop, bro.
I know, but still, I was like, what if she like rats out, or she's a narc or something? Then I had like, dude, I had like
Fun paranoid
well,
thoughts.
I had like a half a gram on me,
Sure.
and I was like, I gave some to this one dude in front of me. My buddy didn't want to take any, and I took a little bit, so I tossed some of it away on the fucking ground. I was like, dude, I don't want to get caught with this. I dropped some, and we moved towards the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this one I like this dude was getting down. He had like his shirt open, and I made eye contact. It was like, hell yeah. And he was like 5 feet away, and he comes over, and he's like in my face, and he's dancing. He's getting in everyone's face, and he's like super wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And like people start like pushing him, like, bro, stop, get away. And then it was too much after like 10, 15 minutes. And like these two dudes I was standing next to, they were a cool group. They got mad and they pushed him hard as fuck into this crowd. And this girl turns around, and like there's this group of people that he just got pushed into, and they turn around, you see their face, they're like, dude, what the fuck? And they push him back super hard. And he did this. He goes, like, without, he didn't say a word this entire time. He goes to the two dudes and then to me. I didn't do anything. He goes, to all three of us like that. And his buddy comes over and he like taps him on the back. He was like, you could tell his buddy was like, fuck, my friend's wasted right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that low key traumatized me. I was like, I don't want to go to a big show like that again. That was whack.
I definitely like. I mean, if I go to big shows, like you said, that's one thing I like about. It was at Silo though, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about Silo though. Is it's. I feel like when I've gone there, it's easy for me to find space if I don't want to be in the
It can
crowd.
be. It can be. And I was probably like a little too stubborn.
Right.
I should have probably
and
moved.
and that was the same thing for me at that Sleep Token concert because like I was standing. It was at Bomb Factory, and you have the bars on the side, and there's also like the ceiling, so you can't really like see very well. And you're by the bars, so people are gonna be talking. It's gonna be loud over there, and I didn't fucking move because like I was gonna mention the ChatGPT thing, and it's kind of relevant now, but we're not responsible for how other people react. We're not responsible for other people misreading our intentions. So like my intention is I want to get away from this bar and I'm gonna push through the crowd to get somewhere else. My thought is, man, I don't want people to get pissed off that I'm pushing through. It's like, dude, you know what? If someone gets pissed off and I have to explain myself, I bet they'll chill out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm so worried about even pissing them off to begin with that I don't even do that.
You want to avoid
like,
confrontation.
right? And so it's like back to also like trauma dumping, like which honestly I don't like. That's now we've had this conversation. I'm like, man, trauma dumping is a terrible term because it just implies that me sharing my feelings with you is bad.
Right. It implies, yeah.
And
It's like,
it implies it's bad. But
yeah,
like,
which is lame.
But you are responsible for saying, dude, I'm sorry, I'm not in the headspace right now, and I'm responsible for saying, oh, all right, my bad. I'll keep it to myself, or I'll go write it down, or I'll go talk to ChatGPT about it. But I shouldn't. But I'm not. But preemptively, I shouldn't be going, man, I shouldn't talk about this to him because he's got. I don't know what you're gonna do. How you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a very egotistical proud thing to do because it's just like it's me assuming that I know best and that I can control everything, and it's like, no, I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of this human existence is finding those boundaries and bouncing up against them and coming back to center again. And it's not about staying centered 24/7. You know, growth or just living in general is cyclical, not linear. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's a straight
just
line.
be human.
Right.
Just be human. Like let loose or just go with the flow.
Right.
It's kind of like when you're on a shroom trip. Don't fight the feelings that are coming towards you. Just like go into them. Unless it's like a full blown rage. It is like, or like, you have to analyze, like, is this okay? I mean, try not to overthink it. Like, if you really feel the need, you got to say something.
Well, the last time I took shrooms towards the end of my trip, and I I remember like having a really great trip, and then towards the end, I started having these little anxieties,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking like, "Oh, get away! I don't want to." And I was just like, "Wait, just let go." And I let go, and it was literally I felt it was like a knot loosened and just dissipated, and it
Yeah.
happened like 3 or 4 times, and just like I would feel that anxiety, and at first I was fighting. I was like, I don't want to feel anxious, and I was like, why not? Fuck it. And I just turned my brain like stop thinking about it, and literally, like I said, just felt like somebody like just massaged the knot out and just it was gone.
Yeah.
But the more I focused on it, the bigger the knot got. As soon as I like let it, I just let it work itself out. Boom, it was gone. You know, it was
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. I mm, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. So fuck. I was gonna add on to that.
No worries,
I
man.
get lost with my thoughts all the time. Oh, do you ever have intrusive thoughts on shrooms?
I mean, yes and no.
So, okay, like I'll explain when I because usually I like to trip by myself sometimes, which is
Same.
yeah, like when me and my buddy, it's happened multiple times, and I take shrooms. I was like, I get these intrusive thoughts. I was like, wouldn't it be weird if I just punched him in the mouth right now? Like, or like I want people to shut up when they're talking while
Uh-huh.
I'm on shrooms, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just like, is that weird? I mean, I
Well,
don't know. Like,
but I think that's part of it too. It's just
it's
like,
like all these thoughts come flooding in.
well, it's your
It's like,
desire to control your environment, and I think that also comes back
yeah,
down to just like, I mean, too much. There's definitely such a thing as too much control, and in fact, like, and back to
it makes you
self-image,
wonder,
back to
like, is it my
curating your.
control freak?
Well, but I mean, but I think we all are to some degree, and
Yeah.
it's again, it's things like, well, I don't know. I mean, you're talking about somebody just talking too much.
Well, he wasn't even talking to me. I enjoyed the conversation. I was just like, wouldn't it be weird if I just punched him in the mouth? It's just like such a
Yeah,
compulsive. I was
yeah.
like, because I enjoy the things we're talking about and I like the experience, but it's like,
These are the
and,
things I like to talk to ChatGPT about.
yeah,
'Cause,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
why
And
did I
like,
feel
well,
that?
yeah, exactly. Because it's like it's such an interesting question, and maybe it has some insight. But it's like, and the thing is like, I don't mind it when I'm talking.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, it kind of feels rude, and I feel bad, and then you start like you go into that recursive like thought loop or whatever, and you're just like, oh shit,
Right.
like who am I? You kind of start
Right.
judging yourself. What am
Right.
I? What
Right.
have I become? Um, but I enjoyed the conversations. It's just like shrooms is interesting, but also sometimes it's with maybe because I've taken shrooms with my buddy before, and I didn't feel that way when I was with him. So maybe it was like maybe an underlying thought I had about the person that was kind of coming up in a different
Yeah,
way.
it could definitely be like something that you had, yeah, but you kind of ignored, and then that kind of made it hard to ignore in that moment.
Mm,
Like maybe you don't really like, maybe he talks about dumb shit, or he just sounds really low
dumb.
intelligent or
Yeah,
something, and then but
yeah,
normally you're just kind of like whatever, but in that moment you're just like, okay, dude, you're wasting my ears right now.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I was like, or yeah, exactly. Or you're going through like a part of your trip where you're just like, let's just listen to the environment around us,
right.
like let it speak to us.
Well, and that's what something I've just tried to get better at is that like you only have agency for you, and same with like the concert scenario, you know, it's being responsive versus being reactive, and like I had I was like I was trying to understand what's the difference between responsive and reactive, and I was having a chat GPT conversation,
Hmm.
and I was just like, okay, like for example, if I'm driving on the highway and I see a car that's going to cut me off, right, how is it not reactive that I get out of the way? And in the context, I'm saying responsive is the right thing to do, reactive is the wrong thing to do, right? Just for the sake of what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, yeah.
And being reactive is not owning your own power, and it's allowing other people to dictate how or what you do, or other environmental things to dictate what you do.
Which would be reactive.
Correct.
Okay.
And so just like, so say a car is like cutting me off, I slam on my brakes, I get out of the way, whatever. How is that not reactive? And kind of losing my train of thought with this one, but essentially like,
Do you feel like it's you're thinking of like two different scenarios, like did I respond to the situation or did I react like from an emotional like point of view or standpoint? Is that what you
Right.
kind of
Well,
mean?
like, so let me just use the concert example again. Like,
This is well designed table, by the way.
reactive would be like me, like getting, yeah. Shout out AJ and his good taste. But
Yeah, this is like well designed for humans. It's like functional as a cutout right there.
right, right.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like me being reactive when the short dude's trying to pick a fight with me would have been engaging in the fight. Me being responsive, I didn't end up doing anything. I ended up staying there and just kind of trying to let it go and ignoring it. But so the reactive move could have been to fight him, and the responsive move would have been to remove myself from the scenario entirely. In the case of you talking about tripping with your friend, be responsive. Just go walk away. You don't have to be there with him, right? Like I'm imagining you probably are somewhere where you could have moved somewhere else. Move somewhere else. You know, like
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's remembering that you always do have power and control of yourself, but you also mentioned the thing that we all deal with is just sometimes we're just stubborn. You know, it's our ego says like no, like I want things the way I want them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
somebody else is messing it
Yeah,
up.
it's not
And
fair. I never get my way. I want to get my way right now.
right,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah, like,
exactly.
if I don't start standing up for myself here, where am I? Except punching your friend in the mouth for talking is not standing up.
But that's a great. I mean, that's something I've been dealing with lately too. Though is just like man, like I was saying, I was telling you a little bit ago how last week I was having some issues with controlling my temper, and on the one hand, I don't think I was wrong for wanting to stand up for myself.
Yeah, because they've been negative the whole time.
Right, but there was negative energies that I was responding to. However, like I don't want to I don't want to let other things control me like that though, you know, like I still want to stay responsive and like not I totally lost what I was trying to say there.
Yeah, no, it's all good, dude. Uh, can is that? Can I have a drink? Or is that
Sure.
not yours?
No, yeah, you can have a drink.
Yeah. Do you want one?
I'm all right.
You're good?
Yeah.
You sure? Loosen up a bit.
Fuck it. All right.
Respond to your environment. Or
Why
do you
not?
have to, fuck it. Nice. What do you want?
Let's see.
Or like have some other cabinets over?
Yeah, it's top right over here.
Thank you, AJ.
What you want?
Just do some makers.
Sure.
It's a good go-to. Yeah, there's only a little bit though.
I'll buy him the bottle.
Okay, good.
I I drink these more than he does, so
Oh, for real?
I owe him some.
Seems like you have a cool roommate.
Bro, not just roommate, he's my landlord. Even
Oh,
better.
AJ's your landlord?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Big dude got big glass, small dude got little glass.
This is the
But
way.
this is the way. New Maker's actually pretty good for the price.
It's a little bite. A little bitey.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's good though. Knob Creek.
I like it. Yeah.
Knob Creek is my favorite, I think, bourbon.
Yeah. You know, it'd be really cool if you did a podcast like at a pizza parlor. I mean, it'd probably be super noisy, but that'd be fun. Just like
Yeah, I want to
mukbang.
I mean, I'll be completely transparent. Like I guess I am a perfectionist. I guess that's the way to describe it. Like even just like you like, you know, I worry. I try too hard, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm like thinking like of all these variables, and I'm like I can't lose my train of thought when I'm hosting a podcast. I'm fucking
Like,
human.
but the best conversations happen when you're not like trying to control anything. Like, you
Right.
let things flow naturally, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? Because I'm the same way though. I relate to you a lot on that same point. Because I tried to do a podcast once, and I like at one point I tried to get more organized, and I had like a list of things I wanted to cover.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't I wasn't happy with like the way some of those episodes went. I think the best ones were when we just fucking around and talking.
Yeah. I mean, I know um, when I was younger and I journaled a lot, and I journal a lot now. For the last 6 months, I've gotten back into it pretty heavily. But when I was younger, I did it a lot too. And I was really into like spoken word and like Hotel Books and Levi the Poet. Those are a couple artists, musicians, artists, whatever.
Lauren Hill.
Not familiar. Lauren Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Not familiar.
She's
But
like
like button poetry on YouTube, if you've ever heard of that. Like slam poetry, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think like unconsciously it kind of influenced my writing because I would write rhythmically, at least in my head. I was kind of like, there was a cadence to my writing, you know what I mean? And but I would often write something and think that was stupid, and then I would like come back a month later and read it like, holy shit, I wrote that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, that's really good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You're
you know?
impressed with yourself.
But like, and then I'd be like, oh damn, I can write poetry. So then I would try to write poetry. Terrible.
Not the same
I
because you were trying to force it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it was something that just flowed naturally and just came out of a desire to express myself. It was fine, but it was like, you know, and that's I was hearing recently. There's one producer, I forget what his name is, or I think he's a producer. Or he's a talent management or something like that. But he was like, I think he was like the first one. He was like the one that started Lady Gaga. He started like several big name artists, but he only helped them with their first album, and then he moves on.
Okay.
Because he said something along the lines of like, after that first one, they're now trying to recreate something, and the magic is kind of gone.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's kind of the sad thing about, you know, the way I think a lot of every creative I think has to deal with is that like the moment you reach some level of success, that sets a bar or a standard for yourself that you may or may not have wanted to set. And now, man, dude, it just blows my mind reading on the internet. Anytime I'm finally realizing I don't want to read reviews anymore. Reviews do not help. Like, I think there was a time in life where it made sense to read reviews, like for a movie, for an album, whatever, because
even a restaurant,
for a restaurant, it helped you to decide what you know, it helped you to kind of like maybe not waste as much time by doing things you didn't like, right? And give you a better idea of what you're doing. But now there is always an opinion on both sides. And they're always going to be like, it doesn't matter how good something is. I mean, the algorithms feed on negativity. Like, negative comments are always to the top. Like, dude, that like Dallas, Texas TV, Instagram, or whatever. It's just like, it cracks me.
It's wild.
People literally jump on as quick as possible to try to say the most negative thing, or say something
off the wall,
because they know that because it will generate the most likes every single time it does. But it's just like, yeah, it's fucking absurd how much we.
Well, it's like, especially with movies, because it's like, dude, you'll see negative reviews on a movie, or I try to avoid it because I don't want to come into a movie with like preconceived notions of what to expect or even possibly ruin it.
Right. Like, I don't even want to know the plot anymore.
A certain way. Yeah. And I was like, who cares? And then sometimes people will like go watch a movie and you have like a movie critic. Like, this wasn't a submission to Cannes Film Festival, bro. Like, this is a movie that was just meant to be fun. It's stupid. There's no plot. It's like Napoleon Dynamite. You have people like going and critiquing it. And I was like, yeah, enjoy it for what it is. It's not something that's like super serious. Just, you know, fucking relax, enjoy the movie.
Right.
Like,
and I've been guilty of that too, though. I admit, like for example, like recently, I mean, there's layers to this one, but Beyonce doing country music, right? My take on that was like, that's kind of stupid. Like, I was like, okay, like my hot take was like, that's not really fair. She has all the ability to crush whatever she chooses to do, and she's already had a lane for herself. Deviating from that lane, kind of I was like, that hurts artists that are actually doing that because she's now overshadowing, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's kind of like not fair.
yeah.
But then, and I mean, obviously there's layers to that because they're just Beyonce and Jay-Z are just huge.
They're huge.
They're huge, and so they I'm kind of right because they are huge and they can do whatever the fuck they want. And so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, if you can do whatever the fuck you want, maybe like don't step on other people's toes
Yeah.
unnecessarily. But then at the same time, it's
They
like,
have the right
but
to make whatever the fuck they
But
want.
who am I to say what she should and shouldn't make? Like, who am I to say like she can't do that? Like, that's not fair. You know, like
Yeah,
who am
because you're probably you're an artist in a way too, and you probably it's like that's kind of hypocritical for me to say,
Right.
But at the same time, fun fact to add on to that, I don't know if it's true, but apparently Jay-Z spent a ton of money like pushing her like country music and getting radio stations to play her music.
Absolutely. I think that's the only reason why I was so successful. You know,
That's why she won an award for it.
Right,
That is
right,
insane.
right.
I actually haven't even heard any of it. Was it good? Was
this
any of the
ain't
music good?
Texas. You ain't heard that song?
That's her?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I have.
That's like the most popular song I think from the album. That's the only song I know.
Wasn't she born in Texas?
Houston, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's okay. Yeah,
Like,
all right. You
it's
get a
like-
pass,
she
Beyonce.
does-
You're from
she does-
Texas.
she does-
You're a Texas girl. All right.
Right. There is a little bit of a pass. I mean, she grew up fucking church, gospel, Bible Belt.
That's
you know,
true,
all
right?
that
So I
shit.
guess it kind of
it's-
makes sense,
Right. And, you know, she's been so far removed from that for so long, but at the end of the day, she's kind of going back to her roots with it.
Yeah,
So.
well, it's kind of also like Taylor Swift having her like start and origins in country music, then moving into the pop world.
Right.
And then like I remember people were like felt super betrayed that she like got into pop so much.
She did it like very quickly, though. It was only like one album, 2 albums that were country, and then everything else
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
You know, that is a good point, though. But yeah, I mean, it's especially fun with music that like, yeah, I mean, you mentioned critics that like, you know, somebody releases an album, everybody loves it. And they release another album, like, this isn't like the same. This isn't different. This isn't the band that I like. It's
Yeah.
like, so go fuck yourself. I mean, okay, like I don't know, like I'm over here talking about not judging people, but I'm about to make another judgy comment. Like I was going to use Drake here because Drake is he's a produced image, right? Like
Yeah.
he wanted to be a rapper and he bought his rapper image. It was not like I don't think that was just, you know, like he created a character for himself. Right, and you're allowed to do that though. So you're allowed to make a character for yourself, but just at least own your own that you created a character. Like we all know, you're not really as hard as you know
As you make yourself out to be. Yeah.
exactly. But so aside from people like that, because there are some artists, people call them plants, whatever. There's some artists that are very produced in their image, and they have it's tailored, right? It's curated.
Yeah.
And so those are different because they are writing music to be popular. So yes, they do have to kind of listen to that. But a lot of musicians, they write music because they want to write music. And so it's like who is anybody to say that like this isn't like the old. I miss the old Kanye straight from it's like that whole
Kanye.
thing. It's
Used
like,
to chop it up, Kanye.
Right,
yeah.
right. It's exactly like that fucking rap he has, which is like on point because it's just like, man, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm still Kanye. Like why?
Yeah,
are you
he can
trying
make
to
his
dictate
music.
Who I am?
That's
you know?
I think that's what I like about Kanye a lot. I think he's a great artist, and I think the way he can always go and like change his sound,
Right.
and it still sounds great. I
Right.
I like Kanye a lot. I know a
personally-
lot
I
of
like
people
Kanye
don't
as
like
well.
him.
Yeah.
But his music.
I do admit he's
He gets off the rails.
certainly off the
sometimes.
rails right now, and not somebody I would like listen to his opinions, but like.
Yeah, I kind of like it
But
sometimes.
I mad respect anybody that says fuck what you think, fuck what you say. I'm gonna stay who I am.
Yeah. Do
Because
what
there's
you want.
so few people that do that. Like that is one.
It's
thing
authentic.
Kanye's authentic. He's consistent. I mean, consistently inconsistent, but he's consistent. Like,
Yeah, he's like a different dude.
right.
And I like that about him. You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because it was because I've never really listened to Zed's Dead, which by the way, it took me until this year to find out that Zed's Dead and Zed are two different artists, by the way. Well, yeah, you know, my clarity.
Is that a girl?
No, but it's a dude. Zed is a
Rez is a girl.
Rez is a girl.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on I think she's part of the Mousetrap like label. By the way, Dead Mouse blocked me on Instagram.
What'd you do?
I called him out because like I remember reading about him and he had this like negative opinion because I think was it Gwen Stefani? She was like, or like some popular like pop artist.
Mhm.
she said, "Where's the Molly?" And she was talking. Her excuse was that she was trying to. She was asking. It was like a shout out to her friend or some shit like that named Molly.
Mhm.
I don't buy that. But like he like went on Twitter at the time, or was it X? I don't really remember. And he was like, "I think it's so irresponsible. Like, there's a lot of young people that go to these shows, and you're talking about Molly and drugs." And then he got fucking black out
At
drunk at
Coachella,
fucking Coachella.
right?
And I
We all
remember,
saw
and
that.
everyone saw it, and I got pissed off, and I was like, and I'm a big fan of him, like, dude, that dude, and especially when I went to go see his concert at the Silo in December, changed me. Like, I felt like I went back to being what I was. Had a good time with the boys that night. I feel like I'm Fouad again, and it pissed me off. I mean, he's truly one of the most influential producers of like all time, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like he is. Like he's got a great sound. He made some very iconic songs, and will probably be iconic as for the rest of my living life, at least I'd hope. But I called him out. I was like, bro. Yeah, it might have been actually multiple comments that I made on a couple of his videos about it, and
But I
I was
think
like,
you got to make a few to get on somebody's
yeah,
nerves enough.
probably, unless I like just hit a nerve so well. But I got on there, and I was like, bro, got blackout drunk at Coachella, drinks and smokes at his shows, and does stuff that's arguably more harmful to the human body than taking like Molly or other drugs. And he goes and calls people out. And obviously, no one's perfect. Like, he's a human at the end of the day. And we all make mistakes. And, sometimes your opinions change over time.
Right.
But I was like, bro, that's fucking bullshit. Like, and I think that was one of my I was like, I think it's bullshit or dumb. Like, you go and criticize
Very
other people when you
hypocritical.
do this. And I was like, I went to go back to his page one day because I wanted to see what he's been up to and if he's had any new music coming out. And I couldn't find it, so I made like a new account. And I was like, did he delete his account? Was he embarrassed after what happened? No, he blocked me. And I was like, damn, what an honor. I was like, I got recognized in the
Kind of, I'm about to
comments, and
say
I got
that is
blocked.
kind of an honor.
Yeah,
You
low
got
key.
recognized.
Yeah. So, I definitely think I struck a nerve anyway, so
Yeah.
I felt good about that, low key, but I was kind of...
That is something that, like, I mean, we all struggle with those, and that's, again, I blame social media, but like, you're not allowed to change your opinion anymore, like,
Yeah.
and it's just fucking absurd that people are like, careful what you say on the internet, it lasts forever. So, like, why is that a scary thing?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Because people can be dumb sometimes.
people can be dumb, but I mean, like, obviously saying hateful things, like common thing for white dudes is getting caught saying the N-word at some point in time, right? And like that seems to be a common theme, and it's just like, okay, like, that's not obviously a justifiable thing, whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, why is what somebody said 10 years ago still affecting today? Now, I mean, you can continue down that rabbit hole, and they're a child molester. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna absolve you of that. But for in the sense of like, just, I mean, most opinions though, people seem to like lock in. It's like, you say it, oh, you mean that forever. It's like,
Yeah.
dude,
It was like, that's bullshit. I'm a human too.
our states of being changed so often and so frequently. Like, dude, I'm not. I woke up this morning like, God damn it, why is it that like I'm so on point, except for the days I'm gonna have somebody come over to do a podcast with me, because I woke up this morning like not feeling on point. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do all the things that I think make me in my zone. But and I mean I even thought about being like, dude, let's reschedule. But I was like, no, you set this up. This is something I want to do. I need to follow through. Imperfect or not perfect, that is all about being human, right? Like, I even think like, should I have hit my vape just now? Should we be drinking? Like, dude, that's part of my human experience. Like why try to filter myself, hide myself? And that's another thing about social media, that like I used to be, and I still am pretty transparent, but I used to like regularly post vents and stuff like that on my story, and was very open about how sad I was, and men particularly would be like, dude, you should be careful, you shouldn't talk so much on
Like,
social
they
media.
actively told you that?
Yeah, they would be like, you shouldn't talk about your feelings like that so publicly, and this, and I'm just, and I never, that never felt right to me. I was just like, why shouldn't
That's
I?
bullshit. Yeah.
Why should I? Why? it's a double-edged sword. It's beautiful that we can create an image, and you can, to reference the 48 laws of power again, um, it's beautiful that we have these tools that we can optimize ourselves, and we can, I mean, we literally are living in an RPG video game where you get to kind of determine your character, and
Your stat sheet.
yeah, and you can develop your like, you're kind of born, yet you're born, so I mean,
You have your base
same
stats.
with RPG. You got your base stats, but you can develop them from there. Like I might, yeah, I'm predisposed to be 6'6". That's you know what I mean. You're predisposed to be 5'4".
Shut up, bro. I didn't eat enough. All right, my wingspan is 5'7". And clearly, when I was on Adderall in middle school, I just didn't eat enough. All right, I was supposed to be taller, ladies. Don't judge me for my past.
Right, I'm allowed to change now. Okay, like,
I have a
shit.
huge cock.
Hey, I'm tall today in my mind.
In my mind, honestly, some days I actually feel like that. Like I feel confident. Yeah. It's weird.
But I mean,
Anyways,
back to like states of being though. Like literally, like your state of being is so like. When you wake up in the morning, I think most people have this to some degree. Some people feel it very intensely, myself being one of them. But like, it's been better for me. Honestly, it's been a lot better lately. But like a year ago, I woke up every single day. I woke up like, I want to die. Like I don't want to. Not literally, I want to die necessarily, but like I don't want to wake up. Like I don't want to exist. That was the first thought when you wake
I'm
up.
basically dying.
Right. but I think that is just like, that is kind of, though, I think everybody deals with that to some degree. I think some people just push through it without getting too deep into thinking about why they feel that way. They're just kind of like, whatever, I'm going to get up anyway. And it's funny, like as a kid, you know, I drink coffee, and I always heard people talking about like, I'm not me until I had my first cup of coffee. That didn't make sense. The older I get, the more it makes sense. I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. Cause like, yeah, when you wake up, you're in this like slumber state, and you don't really want to exist in the real world yet. You know what I mean? And then and then you get that
I'm not
stimulant
ready
going.
for this shit. You're
Right.
like, I have to do. You wake up. Fuck! I have to do this shit again.
Exactly. But then once that stimulant gets going, all of a sudden you're like looking for things to do. You know what I mean? And suddenly your state of being shifted now from one of, and I think it's I mean, we can like name it. It's like being in a survival state versus being in like a thriving state versus being in a regressive state. Or one thing I've been trying to practice lately is naming my archetype, right? And so like, because
how so? Like, what do you mean?
So
like the archetype that you are for that day
in that moment, because you're never the same archetype for the entire day. You wake. So I think. People can correct me if y'all want, but like I think that like we wake up in the orphan archetype, and that's been an archetype I've been kind of like thinking about a lot lately.
Like you feel abandoned and you have like needs that need to be met.
Right. So
is that what that means?
When you're in an orphan archetype, you are in a survival mode. You feel, and that's something. So let's say you're tired, right? And your friend won't stop talking when you're on shrooms. You try to make him shut up because you, somewhere deep down, you feel this like, you feel a pain. You feel like you're being attacked. I'm trying to figure out how to articulate this, but essentially, like,
spit it out. Don't think about it too much.
Right,
Just
but
it's
essentially you're just stuck. You feel the need to protect yourself, and so anything outside,
any input from the outside,
you kind of want to hide in a hole. You don't really want to talk to anybody because when you're an orphan, you're used to being abandoned. You've been hurt. You've been attacked. You're hungry. You're tired. You're lonely. You're sad. You're all these different things. And so what do? As a survival, you shell up, you curl up, and you want to just kind of like wait for it to go away, versus when you're in the warrior archetype, you're ready to go to war.
You're ready to challenge. You're ready to fight.
If, you know, for example, so if I'm in the orphan archetype and I go to the grocery store and somebody cuts in front of me in line, I go, it's fine, and I gotta back off, right? Versus I'm in the warrior archetype, I'm like, excuse me, I was next. You know, you assert yourself, you know, so it's like those are the two different like levels you'll be in. And so yeah, I've started trying to like identify what archetype I'm in certain moments, just as like a healthy, I think, mindful practice. Just kind of be I am hyper self-aware way too much. I need to balance it out, but this is one of the tools I try to do to try to help me balance it out, because I can't help be self-aware. So if I'm going to be self-aware, at least maybe I can label where I'm at, and so then it helps me understand better like why I'm reacting the way I'm reacting. You know?
Yeah, 100%. So you're kind of essentially saying just kind of go with the flow and just like feel it out. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Or am I misunderstanding that?
No, you're right. It is going to flow. It's learning to name it because oftentimes when we feel discomfort, we want to run from that discomfort. But if you can acknowledge the discomfort instead and look it in the face, be like, you have a place in me. That's okay.
Yeah.
And
That's
generally
part
it goes
of,
away. And that's back to like me saying too, like loosening those knots when I'm on shrooms. It's like the more you try to ignore something, the more it festers.
yeah,
And then
100%, because
the
it
moment you
wants to bubble up.
It wants to bubble. It wants to be brought to light. It wants to be seen. That orphan wants to be seen. The more I try to put that orphan away, the louder it's going to scream and cry.
Yeah, exactly.
And the more it's like, dude, you're sad. You're sad. And it's just like a relief. It's like, oh, I am sad. Fuck. Okay, cool.
It's okay. It's cool to acknowledge. And then you feel a relief afterwards.
Right,
exactly.
right,
You get
right,
the knot
right.
out, like you said.
Being able to articulate and understand, feelings and emotions and thoughts is like super valuable to me. I learn more and more every day, but trying to find that balance to where I'm not hunting them down unnecessarily.
Yeah. And at that point, you don't even really approach it from the right way. At that point, it never seems like like when it comes naturally to you and you just kind of feel it, and then you ask yourself like, why do I feel this way? Is the best time to like approach it versus like actively seeking it or being a bounty hunter in a sense.
Right.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. I was talking about, wait, I don't want to take away from what we were just saying.
Go for it with it. That kind of, there was, okay. It was a good part to move on.
So, you know how like we were talking about Taylor Swift and like and Beyonce and shit like that? I was thinking that one of the examples I wanted to talk about was like Zed's Dead because I never really got to expand on that. It was like Zed versus Zed's Dead.
We got stuck on Zed.
Yeah. Anyway, I like that conversation. But it was like Zed's Dead. I didn't really start listening to them until this like last album came out, the most recent one with the rainbow.
Intergalactic Spectrum of Happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great album. I think that's like, I'm pretty sure I've heard some of their music before that. But that album was like so good. But I remember like reading in the comments that people didn't really. There were like some people that were upset.
Like, this isn't Zed's Dead.
Yeah. Because some people like just some of the people in the bass crowd. I think maybe it's just because they're younger, but they're kind of like Molly Munchers. They're like, I need a bunch of bass in my face.
That's what. I'm not a big fan of the bass community because a lot of people in the bass community, they just want something to headbang to. And as somebody that grew up in metal scene, I get that. I wanted something I could mosh and fight to, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they want. They want something to get their repressed
they
emotion.
Want to move.
They want to get repressed emotion out, and they only know how to do that through headbanging. But oh my fucking God, bro, that and I think it's gonna be a long time. A long time.
Yeah.
I can't think of what that song is, but that one where they sample that from song. Fucking Ferris Bueller's Day Off to Star Wars to
all this other stuff. Dude,
that's like one of the most beautiful masterpieces I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
like incredible.
Like the whole song was like that, or you're talking about like individual songs where they've sampled each.
The whole song, you've heard it, right?
No,
dude,
it was great,
dude. I wish this podcast was set up to where I could just pull it up right now and play it. Maybe I fucking can't.
I liked the spirit of, was it called The Spirit of Ecstasy? That one was really good. I also like One of These Mornings and
that song made me cry when I saw it at
One of These Mornings.
Lollapalooza. Yes.
You got to see it live?
Yes, but before it was released too.
No shit.
And I was so upset when I couldn't find it anymore because it was so good.
Dude, that must have been life changing.
I want to see if this fucks up the recording, but surely it wouldn't. Channel flipping. You haven't seen channel flipping, dude?
No, I haven't heard of that at all.
Dude.
Make sure you don't play too much of it so you don't get copyrighted.
Well, I can cut it out of the podcast if I have to.
True.
I can't. This is all not their music anyway. How could I get?
True.
This is all other people's music that they mixed.
I want to hear this song on it. Who's that?
I'm not sure. I can't believe you haven't seen this yet, dude.
Yo, that's a good speaker for that laptop, dude. Hell yeah. You want some of my before this?
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So good, bro.
Sing this live,
I haven't seen this live.
I'd cry, even if I was sober.
Long time. Sometime.
Oh, I've never seen a music video for that.
Me neither. I hadn't seen
No
any.
shit.
Most of these music videos I hadn't seen.
Kendrick Lamar, of course.
Gonna be sometime. Sometime.
I was kind of expecting a drop to be in there.
It's such a banger. Also, you should watch the whole thing. Return to the Spectrum of Intergalactic Happiness. They have music videos for One of Those Mornings, this one, and
Yeah.
it all comes into 1 hour long fucking song of amazingness.
Dude,
That
I'll
is the
definitely
shit.
watch that tonight for sure.
That is the shit right there, though. That like talk about AI and music, and you talk about like what can be replaced. That is the shit that gives me confidence and hope, because I'm like, I don't think an AI could do that.
Really?
That
Yeah.
human influence to create something like that. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because I've shown that
Sweet
to some
memories.
people that like didn't really care, and I was just like, I don't even know what it is. But
They didn't click with it?
right, but it clicks for me.
How could they not
so
click with that? That's so
intensely.
beautiful,
like it's one of the
dude.
coolest things I've ever seen in my
That's
life.
like
I'm
so
just
human.
blows my mind how good it is, and so I mean that's part of my unique experience, and I'm happy that I get to enjoy it the way I do. But yeah,
That was beautiful. I got
don't-
misty eyed there, bro.
right, like it kept, like brings back your entire childhood, like all the shit fucking
Yeah, because
all these movies and,
yeah,
and
you
shit
like you're
and
getting
songs.
you're like getting you realize, especially now that I'm like 32, bro, like you realize you're getting older and it's like life's passing you by and you wonder where all this time's gone. Because dude, like at the start, like when COVID happened, like in 2020 to now, like I felt like 3 years were robbed from me, and it felt like nothing, like it all went by so quick. And we're already almost to July right now.
Yeah.
July's right around the corner. 7 months. I feel like, dude, I feel like 3, 4 months have gone by, not 7. And it's like when you hear that everybody's got to change sometime, like or like Ferris Bueller's like, people change quick or things happen quick. I don't know what the fuck he was saying, but
Well, if I can
it's
give you a little tidbit that has helped me immensely, because this has been
please.
both the fastest but also the longest year of my life. Novelty is the spice of life, man.
It
Spice of
really
life,
is.
man. It like one. I mean, just anything. Like I don't know, dude. Just don't do the same thing every day. Just don't do the same thing every day. Mix it up. And I mean, it can be such small things like if you work the same job every day, fine. But tomorrow, take the longer route. Whatever. Anything to shake it up. Anything to shake it up, and that extends your life. It makes things feel so much longer. Like I said, my last week feels like it was so fucking long because I did something different every single day,
Really.
and I made sure to keep mixing it up. And um, have you seen Severance?
Is it a movie?
It's a show, 2 seasons.
No.
It's on Apple TV. Highly
I
recommend.
feel
it.
like
Highly
I've
recommend
heard of it or maybe seen part of it.
It came out a few years ago, but it's pretty popular. Highly recommend it. It's a mind fucker, dude. I mean, what I love about it is, and this sounds this might sound a little bit cocky or whatever, or full of myself, but I think a lot of people could watch it and just be like, "Oh, interesting. That's an interesting take on corporate America." Dude, my mind went so deep with that show, and I don't even know if the writers. I really,
You don't know if they
I
intentionally
would
meant
love
to do
know
that?
what they meant, because I don't. I think because they. I was also I saw this comment recently about how a lot of shows and movies these days are literally written to be easy to follow while multitasking. Like Netflix actively seeks out shows that you can watch while you're doing something else on your phone or whatever.
Really?
Because that's what a lot of people want to do now. And so the way that plays out is they'll, instead of like, I'm not big into anime, but I know people talk about animes and how long they are and how long the character development is.
Oh, it's
That's a good example of
pretty long.
storyboarding or whatever, right? For me, Doctor Who, the new Doctor Who seasons 1 through 7. Season 7 blew my fucking mind.
Really?
You had to watch a lot of silly episodes to get there, but if you paid attention, dude, I can't even remember now what exactly happened.
Sure.
But I remember.
But you remember being blown
how
away.
I felt and being like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Because like there's such a beauty in that slow burn, you know what I mean? Because we're so quick to rush for instant gratification now. Everything's at our fingertips. Like everything is designed for instant gratification, and you kind of have to force yourself to delay gratification. And so with Severance, before I get too off track here.
No, you're good. You're good.
Severance, they leave it. Oh, they don't. Basically, like there's movies that'll like have this whole deep plot and then like do everything to like make the viewer have to decipher what the plot is or decipher the underlying message, and then it spits the message in your face like you didn't have to, you know what I mean? It's almost kind of like I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like it'll do all this stuff throughout the show or throughout a movie to imply something. And that's the whole point. You're supposed to, as the viewer, kind of like discern these things.
Kind of come to your own conclusion,
right? But
like,
then it'll spit
definitive.
the plot back in your face every 5 minutes, so that way you can keep up while you're multitasking.
Yeah.
Severance is a show that's like a new show that didn't do that, and it very much left things open to interpretation. Essentially, like the plot of the show is, you get this. There's a process that people can go through called severance, and it's used for corporate jobs, I think primarily, but they also did it like for childbirth, like mothers could do severance for child raising and things like that. But it allows you to split your brain in half to where you can have 2 lives, and they don't connect. And so when you go to work, basically like they go to work and the camera every time does like there's a name for this. A guy coined it, but it's when you're zooming out while changing the focal.
The focal length.
You know what I'm talking about? So it's kind of their face gets bigger or smaller because
Yeah.
so you know the effect I'm talking about. And it does that every time, like when they're in the elevator, because like that's them coming into work mode. And when they're at work, they only know work, and then out they have their innies and their outies, and their innie is at work, and they only know the innie life, and the outie is the outside world. And they only know they don't connect them.
Interesting.
They can't remember each other basically.
Yeah, because the brain's been separated out.
But yeah, that show brought up a lot of interesting deep topics. I forget why I brought that up, but anyway.
We were talking about like novelty and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah.
So that show I think speaks a lot about
Like work probably makes it feel so repetitive, and like
exactly.
because it takes up such a large majority of our life. We
Well,
have
and people don't understand or even realize that like they lose 20 years of their life to the corporate machine, and it doesn't feel like 20 years because they're pushed to do the same thing every fucking day.
and it goes by
And
quick.
they're forced to commute to like an hour, and they're forced to do all these there's all these things baked into it that prohibit you from even seeing outside of it. Right?
Yeah.
Because like if you another thing like if this is kind of same topic, kind of not, but you work in a job and you get an offer for a better job with like double the salary, but you have to travel twice as far. That's not necessarily worth it, because you're going to like people think, oh, like, oh, it's fine, I'm making so much more money, I'll be able to stack up. Sure, you'll be able to stack up, but you cannot equally put effort in two places at once. If you put more effort here, that means you take effort off of here. So if you're spending an extra hour and a half to 2 hours driving, that means you're probably not going to go to the gym, or that means you're spending less time with your family, or that means you're not going to have time to cook yourself a good meal, or that means you're sacrificing something. You know what I mean?
At some point, yeah, exactly.
And I think what I'm talking about is you're sacrificing something in self development or self improvement, and that's kind of the goal, is to keep you, because like if you had the ability to focus on yourself, you wouldn't work that corporate job forever because you would outgrow it. But they keep you to where you can't outgrow it because you know what I mean? You don't have the ability to build yourself. So you're literally trapped in the fucking
in the machine,
the hamster wheel. You know,
you're a cog in the machine.
Right.
I want to go back to hunter gatherer lifestyle, but then I think about the fact that if we didn't have modern civilization, we wouldn't have modern, like anesthetics and antibiotics. And I'm like, fuck, man, it's a hell of a trade-off. Do I want to feel like, what if I break a bone and we're back to being hunter gatherers and living in small communities, and like I don't have anesthesia or like proper like medicine?
Right.
It'd be cool if we could like hybridize the two and just go back to being what we were originally meant to be.
Well, that brings up another.
What if we were meant to be this way?
There's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Have you heard of this? So it's a pyramid. If you would, or here I can just pull it up here.
I got you.
M-A-Z, I think M-A-Z-L-O-W, and it should come up.
Yeah. Simply psychology. Let's look at that instead of the summary. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a motivational theory in psychology comprising a 5-tier model of human needs, often depicted as hierarchical levels within a pyramid. From the bottom of the hierarchy upwards, the needs are physiological, food and clothing; safety, job security; love and belonging needs; friendship; esteem; and self-actualization.
So we basically have the first two taken care of now. At least in America, in Western societies, we have the first two are kind of covered. And it's funny that ends up making many of us, myself included, feel very fucking lost. Because you mentioned going back to hunter-gatherer days. Used to, your entire day was structured around, what am I going to eat today? How am I going to stay warm or cool? How am I going to get through the day, right? You're so focused for survival. And that gave you so much purpose and so much, like, it just kind of structured out your day for you. Now that we have, you think about how much time, you literally, like, all you did throughout the day was do the things that you needed to do to survive. Like, you had to go tend to your crops, you had to go hunt, you had to go do this, you had to go do that, wash your clothes, whatever. Now you can throw your clothes in the washing machine, you can hit DoorDash, you can do this, and you can automate all these things so quickly that frees up all this time, which
Sometimes we just
should
throw
be
away.
good,
We throw away.
but it doesn't. Yeah, what do we do with all this? What
We
do we do
invested
with all
into
this extra
social media and
time?
like browsing and shit like
Doom
that.
scroll, you know, like what do we do with all
Literally,
this
like
extra time that we freed up for ourselves? Not shit.
I think one of the first things I said, like when we were talking, was like, you asked me like, so how's your Monday been? It was like I doom scrolled for an hour. I literally said that.
Yeah.
And I was like on my computer, or like I was playing RuneScape or something, and I just let that run in the background, and it's just, it's not the same.
Right.
And like there, I just checked my Instagram really quick.
Which you only did because I told you to pull up your own check Maslow's, and what did you do?
And then I like
absent-mindedly.
I was like, exactly. I like went there and I was like,
right.
Did a girl message me? Did this, that,
Right.
Yeah, I met a girl at the concert. She was super cute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we hit it off.
Nice.
I'm hoping it wasn't just the drugs. I was like, dude, I told her, I was like, I would drive all the way up to OKC just to take you on a date.
Oh yeah. Shit. I don't know, man. I unfollowed girl from Ooby Dooby because I was just like, every time I saw her post, I just got triggered. I was like, I don't even interested in
that one girl.
Yeah.
Well, she got her shit deleted apparently.
Really? Her
like,
Instagram got deleted?
Yeah, like I talked to her on a Discord. I was like, yo, are you okay? And she was like, yeah. I asked her about it and she was like, yeah, my stuff got deleted. I just woke up one day like that. I was like, what did you do?
I have theories.
I can only imagine.
I saw enough red flags pretty quick. I was just like, I don't even want to.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
No, bad. Not the type of energy you want to invest in.
Right.
She reminded me of my ex a lot, dude. She was like,
same.
Life is like, she seemed. It's like, I get it. There's nothing wrong with being depressed. I've been there, but like it was like extreme depression, like and like almost bipolar in a sense. Like
I wasn't seeing that, but I was seeing lack of responsibility for her own life,
actions,
and
I picked up on that too.
And the biggest hypocritical thing that I see with people, women
like that
is fuck men. Men are the problem, while at the same time pandering to men and doing all the thing and why do men always hit on me? While being like flirty and being this entire personality, and then being confused that it attracts what it attracts. I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with that.
I don't
even want to be around that.
It's too much. Yeah, because she was also like a dancer.
That's why I picked up on that.
She is. You told me that, and I was like,
You feed the machine and then ask why the machine exists, but
100%. It's just like
I'm not saying men are great. Men definitely.
Men are terrible. Men can be very terrible.
Men have done plenty of terrible shit, but we got to take responsibility for our
own actions. Yeah, because there's a certain line where it's like, okay, really, is it really always men? I doubt it. It doesn't make sense. Like I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've seen how terrible women can be, and I've seen how terrible men can be.
Right.
It's both pretty.
Right.
They're bad in their own rights and respects. Like I think women can tear you down mentally very quick. Especially if like it's a super insecure person or someone that like expresses their thoughts in a very angry way, and then men can, they can be very dangerous,
right?
Physically,
I definitely agree.
Yeah, so I don't know.
All right, Fouad, that's been a good conversation.
Yeah.
Is there anything interesting you got coming up you want to tell the world?
Not really. I want to make music at some point. I think that'd be really sick.
Fuck yeah, DJ Fouad.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Next podcast, we're gonna drop some beats.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, honestly. And don't I think anyone's gathered. If anyone's, whoever's listening, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, feel what you feel, express what you need to say, and don't overthink it. Honestly, just go back to being a kid. It's like, dude, it's like kind of like Molly. I feel like, Molly's like the most sorry, I don't want to drag this on anymore, but it's like, I feel like Molly's the most human drug ever. Like I feel like that's how a human is supposed to feel. It's like uninhibited. It's normal. It's how people should interact.
Only caveat is sadness exists for a reason. You're not supposed to be happy all the time.
Yeah, exactly. True. 100%. You're right. Because there's like, you don't get to appreciate the happiness as much.
Right.
Yeah, if you're
Homeostasis.
yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
homeostasis because it keeps us. There's no happiness without sadness. There's no sadness without happiness.
Yeah, exact 100%. That's a like the
Everything gets
difference.
old
The
when there's too much
difference.
of it.
Yeah. But don't just sometimes it's okay to be uninhibited sometimes.
Facts.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah.
Cool, bro.
Peace.